Avoid dialysis. Top 6 common drinks destroying your kidneys. You carefully choose the oat milk for your coffee, maybe because your kids told you it was healthier. Or you'll simmer a pot of bone broth for hours, trusting in that age-old wisdom that it's rebuilding your joints. Every single day, you make dozens of these quiet decisions. They aren't just habits, they are your personal commitment to staying healthy and independent. But in a world filled with conflicting advice, how can you be certain that your healthy drink isn't hiding a secret that could put you at risk? The shocking truth science is uncovering isn't the food itself, but a hidden ingredient added during processing. Plus, if you have kidney concerns, the mineral overload from some drinks creates a silent strain on your already compromised filtering system. About 1 in 10 adults have some level of kidney impairment, and many don't even realize it. That's why in this video, we're going to expose the 6 common drinks that could be sabotaging your health from the inside out. To start our investigation, let us know in the comments. Which healthy drink do you trust the most? We're reading every single response. Because for each of these potential culprits, we won't just leave you with a warning. We'll give you a simple, kidney-safe alternative, putting the power to protect yourself back in your hands. And make sure you stay until the end, because the #1 drink on our list is something millions believe to be a cornerstone of good health, when in fact, it could be the most dangerous of all. Just so you know, everything in this video is grounded in peer-reviewed research, completely free from marketing bias or miracle cure claims. We've sifted through the science so you can make smart, informed decisions about your health. Here's an important context before we begin. The concerns we'll discuss today are particularly relevant for individuals with chronic kidney disease, or CKD for short, or those at high risk, such as people with diabetes or hypertension. If you have healthy kidney function, some of these drinks can be enjoyed in moderation as part of a balanced diet. However, since kidney disease often develops silently, with few symptoms in early stages, understanding these risks can help you make informed choices and recognize if you should have your kidney function checked. Also, we're sharing evidence-based nutritional information, but this isn't individual medical advice. If you have concerns about your health, please consult with your healthcare provider. 6. Oat milk. The rise of oat milk has been a blessing for many. It's seen as the clean plant-based alternative to dairy, perfect for those with lactose intolerance. But there's a hidden additive in many of these commercial oat milks that isn't oat, and it's certainly not a blessing for your kidneys: phosphorus. And here's what's actually happening. You know calcium is important. But when manufacturers fortify plant milk with calcium, they're not sprinkling in ground sesame seeds or chunks of cheese. They're adding synthetic calcium compounds, tricalcium phosphate or calcium phosphate. Yes, you're getting calcium. But you're also getting phosphate, the hidden passenger that manufacturers don't put in bold letters on the front of the package. The problem isn't natural phosphorus, but the hidden phosphates added during processing. Phosphorus in whole foods is like a nut in a hard shell. Your body only absorbs a fraction of it. But these hidden phosphates are different. They are unbound, flooding your system with nearly 100% of their content. For those with reduced kidney function, typically stage 3 CKD or higher, this overload can place extra burden on their kidneys. Over time, when phosphorus levels remain consistently high, it can contribute to bone mineral loss as the body tries to maintain balance. In other words, you bought that fortified oat milk for your bones. The calcium was supposed to protect them. But when you have kidney disease, the excess phosphorus forces your body to pull calcium from your bones. Just 1 cup of some commercial oat milks can contain 270 milligrams of phosphorus, which is comparable to dairy milk. For someone managing CKD who is on a phosphorus-restricted diet with typically less than 800 to 1,000 milligrams per day of phosphorus, that single cup uses up about 1/3 of their daily allowance. So how do you avoid these hidden phosphates? It's a simple, 2-step plan. First, become a label detective right in the grocery aisle. Pick up that carton and look for unfamiliar chemical names in the ingredients list. Words like dipotassium phosphate or tricalcium phosphate or any compound with phosphate in the name are your red flags. If you see them, simply place it back on the shelf. Choose unflavored, unfortified versions if your kidneys are compromised. Better yet, make your own. With just oats and water, you regain complete control. 1 cup of oats, 4 cups of water, blend and strain. 5 minutes of your time, complete control over what goes in your body, and no hidden phosphate additives. You'll save money, protect your kidneys, and honestly, it tastes better anyway. 5. Sweetened iced tea. On a hot summer day, few things are as refreshing as a tall glass of iced tea. It feels like a simple, natural choice, certainly safer than a soda. But science reveals a surprising twist. For many, that seemingly innocent drink can be a significant contributing factor to painful stone formation. To understand why, you have to think of it not as a drink, but as a recipe for creating kidney stones. It combines 3 key ingredients. First, the massive dose of sugar causes your body to push more calcium into the urine. This is the raw material. Second, the high levels of oxalates from black tea act like a sticky glue, binding those calcium crystals together. And finally, on a hot day, your urine becomes more concentrated, accelerating this entire stone-forming process. Just how much of this sticky glue are we talking about? A large 16-ounce glass of strong black iced tea can contain 25 to 50 milligrams of oxalate. For those with a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, the general recommendation is to limit oxalate intake to under 50 to 100 milligrams daily. For those already prone to stones, regularly drinking sweetened iced tea isn't just a risk, it's practically an invitation. But this doesn't mean iced tea is off the menu forever. It means you have to rewrite the recipe for safety. Brew it yourself so you decide what goes in. Not all teas are created equal when it comes to oxalate content. Black tea has the highest oxalate levels, while green tea contains significantly less. If you're going to have iced tea on a hot day, drink an extra 8 to 16 ounces of plain water within the hour. This can help dilute your urine and flush out oxalate before it has a chance to crystallize. Swap the sugar for a squeeze of fresh lemon. You're not just cutting out a harmful ingredient, you're adding citrate, a natural stone protector. Enjoy it in moderation, stay hydrated, and you can turn this kidney culprit back into a simple summer pleasure. And hey, if this feels helpful so far, let us know you're out there by tapping that like button. It tells us to keep making content just like this. 4. Hot chocolate mix. This isn't just a drink, it's childhood in a cup. It's snow days and grandmother's kitchen. It's the treat you earned after a long day. And compared to soda or energy drinks, this feels innocent, maybe even healthy. After all, the package mentions antioxidants. It says made with real cocoa. Some brands even boast 20% less sugar in bold letters. But what if I told you that for anyone with kidney concerns or at risk of dialysis, it's one of the most deceptive products on the grocery shelf? When you buy that premium hot chocolate mix, you're not buying cocoa powder and sugar. You're buying a food science formula designed for 3 things: instant dissolvability, long shelf life, and creamy mouthfeel without using actual cream. And achieving all 3 requires chemical engineering. Open your cupboard right now. Pull out a hot chocolate mix. Flip it over and read the ingredients. Past the cocoa powder, often listed as only 5 to 10% of the total formula, you'll find a parade of additives. Dipotassium phosphate for smooth texture. Sodium phosphate as an emulsifier to prevent clumping. Calcium phosphate for flow agent. And sodium caseinate for creamy mouthfeel. Notice a pattern? Phosphate, phosphate, and phosphate. These aren't accidental traces. They're the backbone of the product. The cocoa is almost incidental. Hot chocolate. This nostalgic winter drink is just another phosphate bomb. In fact, a single serving of commercial hot chocolate mix typically 2 to 3 tablespoons, can contain 150 to 250 milligrams of phosphorus from these additives. Again, you absorb 90 to 100%. Worse still, that packet of chocolate powder also contains 15 to 25 grams of added sugar per serving. Some gourmet versions exceed 30 grams, equivalent to 7+ teaspoons of sugar in a single mug. The 20% less sugar means they reduce sugar from 25 grams to 20 grams, which is still 5 teaspoons of sugar per serving. In a 2016 study that followed more than 2,300 people for 3 years, published in Nephrology, people who drank more than 4 servings per week of sugary drinks had 96% higher odds of developing CKD. Worse still, cocoa powder, even in small amounts, is naturally high in potassium and oxalates. For those with kidney disease, excess potassium can cause dangerous heart rhythm problems, while oxalates increase the risk of kidney stones. It's tough to hear this, but the premium chocolate mix you're paying, sometimes $8 to $10 for a tin of 10 servings, isn't buying you quality cocoa or health benefits. It's buying you packaging aesthetics and the illusion of a wholesome treat while the actual formula remains a chemical phosphate cocktail. Curious about the science behind it all? We've linked the studies that support everything we've shared. You'll find them down in the description box. 3. Meal replacement shakes. In our busy lives, a prepackaged smoothie or a meal replacement shake can feel like a perfect solution. It's quick, it's easy, it's nutritious with high protein content, and it promises a full spectrum of vitamins and nutrients. But there's a critical question that's often overlooked in the marketing. Are these high-performance fuels designed for your body's engine? Many of these shakes contain a massive 20 to 30 grams of protein. For an elite athlete, this is high-octane fuel, roughly equivalent to a chicken breast or large steak, an amount that healthy kidneys handle easily. But for those with existing kidney impairment, processing 20 to 30 grams of protein in a single serving may place additional stress on already compromised kidney function. Think of it like asking an engine that's already working hard to suddenly accelerate. It's manageable occasionally, but sustained high loads can accelerate wear. This protein shockwave triggers a state called glomerular hyperfiltration, or increases the filtration rate GFR. Healthy kidneys are designed to handle it. However, for people with pre-existing kidney damage or reduced reserve capacity, which is so common in older adults or those with diabetes or hypertension, sustained high-protein intake may accelerate the decline in kidney function over time. This is particularly relevant for those with undiagnosed early-stage kidney disease. Worse still, pre-packaged meal replacement shakes or smoothies are another phosphorus bomb. They often contain added phosphate salts, with a typical serving providing about 250 milligrams of phosphorus. If you've been paying attention earlier, you know how phosphorus affects CKD, so we won't beat that dead horse again. The truth is, meal replacement shakes were designed for very specific, extreme needs, like competitive bodybuilders or patients on dialysis. For the average person, especially those over 60 whose kidney function may have naturally declined about 1% per year after, the risk is real. So the key is to match the fuel to your engine. Most adults need only 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. For a 70-kilogram person, about 154 pounds, that's just 56 to 70 grams total per day, spread across all meals, not 30 grams in a single shake. Instead of a high-protein commercial shake, refuel with a whole food meal that delivers protein without the phosphate bomb. If you do want the convenience of a smoothie, make it yourself to control the ingredients. Consider using a smaller serving. Just half a scoop of a clean, plant-based protein powder without added phosphates is often more than enough. If the protein powder ingredient list has more than 5 ingredients, or if you see words you can't pronounce, put it back. The safest options are single-ingredient protein powders: pure pea protein, pure hemp protein, or pure rice protein, nothing else added. 2. Bone broth. For generations, bone broth has been revered as more than just a food. It's a healer in a bowl. We trust it to mend our bodies and comfort our souls. The internet is full of testimonials. Even doctors and nutritionists recommend it. But what if we told you that this ancient remedy could be the very thing pushing you closer to dialysis? Think of bone broth not as a gentle soup or a healing tea, but as a potent, unfiltered mineral supplement. Its long, simmering time extracts a powerful trio of minerals: phosphorus, potassium, and sodium. For a healthy body, this can be well tolerated and can be nutritious. The concerns become clinically relevant for those with stage 3 CKD or higher, where mineral regulation becomes progressively impaired. At these stages, this mineral flood is a triple burden, forcing them to struggle against an overload that can weaken bones and strain the heart. And the dose in some commercial broths is alarmingly high. Nutritional analysis of popular commercial bone broth brands, including brands like Pacific Foods and Kettle and Fire, shows that a single 8-ounce cup can contain 300 to 700 milligrams of sodium, with some brands exceeding 40% of the general daily recommended limit in just one cup. Potassium content can range from 150 to 400 milligrams per cup, comparable to a small banana. For someone on a kidney-restricted diet, typically stages 4 to 5 CKD, a full cup of commercial bone broth could provide more potassium and sodium than their daily allowance permits, potentially requiring dietary adjustments for the rest of the day or even medical intervention in severe cases. Plus, a single cup can contain 200 to 400 milligrams of phosphorus. That's 25 to 50% of their entire day's allowance in one cup for someone in stage 3 or 4. And because phosphorus from animal bones is highly bioavailable, just a bit less than those phosphate additives we discussed, your body absorbs more than 50% of it. Day after day, cup after cup, you're not healing. You're accelerating decline. This doesn't mean you must banish bone broth. It means you must respect its power and change its role in your kitchen. First, skip the commercial versions entirely. They're sodium bombs disguised as health food. Second, if you make it at home, use it as a flavor base, not a beverage. A few tablespoons to enrich a soup or a stew gives you all the deep flavor without the risky mineral overload. You're shifting it from a medicine back to a wonderful ingredient. 1. Yerba Mate tea. Yerba Mate is celebrated globally as a natural energy booster, rich in antioxidants, and promoted for its potential health benefits, including improved heart and liver health and enhanced mental focus. However, a significant body of scientific evidence links long-term consumption of the traditionally smoked varieties to a serious risk: multiple cancers, including kidney cancer. The culprit isn't the tea leaf itself, but an invisible contaminant created during its traditional drying process: smoke. This process infuses the leaves with compounds called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs for short, the same toxic chemicals found in tobacco smoke. Studies have found extraordinarily high levels of these carcinogens in commercial yerba mate. In a recent study, scientists analyzed 15 samples of yerba mate from 3 South American countries for toxic metals and harmful substances like PAHs. Their results show that some samples exceeded European safety limits for these substances. All samples contained metals. 4 pesticides were detected, 2 of which are banned in the EU. When you drink yerba mate tea, these compounds enter your bloodstream, and your kidneys, as the body's primary filtration system, are forced to process this toxic load. A landmark 1998 case control study published in the British Journal of Cancer examined the risk of kidney cancer cells in Uruguay. They found that heavy yerba mate drinkers had a 3-fold increased risk of developing kidney cancer compared to non-drinkers. This finding was later supported by a large multi-site study spanning 1990 to 2004, involving more than 13,000 participants across 13 cancer sites, which found that yerba mate consumption was directly associated with cancers of the esophagus, stomach, larynx, lung, bladder, and kidney. The association was strongest among those consuming very hot beverages in large quantities daily over many years. A 2018 study of 244 adults, published in Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention, confirmed these alarming findings. Yerba mate consumption was associated with higher urinary concentrations of several PAH metabolites in a dose-response manner. The sum of PAH metabolites was similar, or even higher, among yerba mate drinkers who did not smoke than among smokers who did not drink yerba mate. While more research is needed to fully understand the long-term implications, this suggests that the traditional smoking process creates a significant exposure to these concerning compounds. Given this serious, well-documented risk, the only responsible advice is to be extremely cautious. If you choose to drink yerba mate, seek out modern, unsmoked varieties explicitly labeled as sin humo, which means without smoke or air-dried. Consume it in strict moderation. Consider that there are many safer tea alternatives with similar antioxidant benefits, such as green tea, white tea, or rooibos, that don't carry this PAH burden. Takeaway. Ultimately, protecting your kidneys isn't about fear or restriction. It's about awareness. It's the understanding that the most powerful tool for your health isn't found in a bottle or a box. It's the power of making an informed choice. Some drinks on our list aren't inherently dangerous. But how much you're consuming and the state of your kidneys determines whether it's nourishing or destructive. This information is educational and not a substitute for medical advice. Kidney disease is highly personal. What works depends on your specific stage, lab values, and overall health. Always discuss any major dietary changes with your nephrologist or renal dietitian. They know your unique situation and can help you personalize these guidelines. Now, the power is in your hands. Based on what you've learned today, what is the one drink you'll think about differently from now on? Share your commitment in the comments below. Reading them inspires our whole community, and know that we are reading every single one. We want to thank you for being here, for listening, for having the courage to embark on this journey of discovering what truly benefits your health. A journey that isn't easy, but is worth more than anything else. Hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications so you never miss a life-saving video. The sooner you spot kidney issues, the more you can do to keep things under control. If you're unsure about your kidney health and haven't been in a good shape recently, check out the video on the screen. Here, we cover all the possible symptoms, helping you spot kidney failure and take action effectively if needed. See you there. Stay informed, stay healthy.